there, it's Natasha and thank you so much for joining me today. I have a kind of nice and simple card that I was just having fun creating that I thought I would share with you guys. So I'm going to start off with some Distress watercolor cardstock, and that's because I'm going to be doing some ink blending. Now the three colors that I am blending together today are Broken China, Hickory Smoke and Wilted Violet. So I am going to start off down the very bottom with the Hickory Smoke, then move into the Broken China, and I just go back and forward, back and forward. Now these colors are not necessarily, I do find the grey one quite hard to blend into other colors, but yeah, if you just keep kind of working at it, you'll be able to get there. So the purple bit is a little bit larger than the other two, but that doesn't matter because I am going to be cutting down this to fit size, so I'm not too worried about the fact that it's a little uneven at the moment. Not too bad, but just a little bit. So I have blended out those colors, and that's probably as good as I'm going to get it. It's not too bad. And then I'm going to go ahead and use my heat gun to dry it just to quicken up the process. Now this is a stamp set from Aliexpress on Aliexpress, and I'm just going to heat emboss this little thank you sentiment. So I'm just using some sticky ink, and then I have that little embossing buddy which stops the static and the embossing powder sticking to any little places that you don't want it to. And I almost always emboss a couple of sentiments because no doubt one always ends up looking better than the other for whatever reason. And then to cut that out, I'm also going to use these dies from Elena Crafts again, and they kind of fit all sorts of sentiments and things, so that's perfect. Then I'm going to go back to my panel. Now this is a stencil that I bought off Ali, and I really like it. It's pretty big though, so I'm going to do a little bit of masking and creative stenciling so that I can make it work for my card front. So I'm just going to use a little bit of low-tack tape on the back of my stencil, and that will hold my card front to the stencil, and then using some post-it notes just to mask off the pieces that I don't need from the stencil. I don't need all those extra wee lines and things, so I just want the main kind of flower in the middle. I'm using some Bow Bunny paste, and then this is the first time I've used it. It's kind of a little bit, it's definitely not runny, but it's quite thin and liquidy, and so I am being really careful to not go over and over this lots. I really am just trying to do the least amount of strokes with my palette knife, and in the hopes that I won't smush any underneath the stencil. Now I let this dry in between times obviously, but just for the sake of a quicker video I edited that part out. And now I want to do this little one on the right here, but I want it to look like it's coming out of the stem of the left-hand one that we did. So I have kind of angled it where I think I want it, and I'm just using these post-it notes to mask off the pieces that I don't want to get. I do want that stem that attaches it to the other ones, but I just don't want all the other bits and pieces. So yeah, I know it looks a little bit funny, but it does the job. And then I'm just going to do the same thing, and again I want to work quickly and not go over it too many times. So once I've done that, it's pretty good and it works out pretty well, I think. You can see the difference between the one that is dry and the one that is not dry as well. So I am speeding up this process by using my heat gun. This is probably not super ideal, however, when you just have a short amount of time to craft, it's a needs must situation. So now I am cutting down this panel. I want the panel to be kind of the feature, obviously, in the middle of the card. And I'm actually going to mat this a few times just to kind of make it really stand out, and then add my little sentiment to the bottom. So I've got the size that I need, and then I'm going to cut another piece here, which is a white piece of 80-pound Nina Solar White, and that will give it a tiny wee frame. And then I will do my double-sided tape trick, which enables me to line up the layers perfectly. This video was just meant to be a really nice, kind of quick and easy card, pretty simple and straightforward with not too much detail. So I was really just enjoying doing it, and I wanted to use that cool big stencil. So I've lined up the white layer, and then I think it's about here where I decide that I actually want to add a black layer as well. So I'm just doing exactly the same thing, which I have sped this video up lots just here because I'm just doing the same thing as I was before. And this is the lazy way of measuring, i.e. not measuring, just creating a small border and making sure it looks about even that way. Then it's just finishing up the card. So I did decide that it needed a tiny little something in the background. So I have this lace tape. I have another video that I showed using this lace tape as well. I really love it and would definitely buy it again. So I'm just adhering it straight down and then using some nice long scissors to cut it off on each side. Obviously, most of this ends up getting covered, but it's okay. It's kind of the small details that can sometimes make it. And here I've just cut up a piece of black fun foam to fit behind that panel so that it pops it up just off the card. And then I'm going to use more liquid glue to adhere that down flat. And that is pretty much my card. All I'm going to do now is add the sentiment, and I'm going to add that with a little bit of the black fun foam that I used just before for behind the main panel. I did trim up the sentiment just a little bit because I felt like it was a little too long. It kind of was too big for the size of the actual sentiment. So yeah, popped it up on that fun foam and put it right in the middle. So that finishes up my card for today. Nice and simple. Let me know what you think of it in the comment section down below. And I will see you on the next one. Thanks. Bye.